what brings me to the topic of the day is politics for professionals. Can the professional join politics and make a career out of it? When I say that, I'm reminded of President Kennedy, who said that there's no greater calling than public service. And you know, what is politics? It's basically public service. We had Mahatma Gandhi, Pandit Nehru, Rajan Babu. There was something common in them. They all decided to take up politics so that they wanted to affect the destiny of the millions. I strongly believe that politics is too serious a profession to be left to politicians. Going ahead, why did I take up communication? Because it was my niche, I told you. But did I join it like the way professionals walk into JWT or McCann? No, I could not have, because of the reason that the place that I come from, the place famous for all the wrong reasons. Yes, I come from Bihar, and I see the smile, I don't miss it. A place called Bhagalpur, made famous by the film Ganga Jal, if you all seen it. I was born in a cultivator's family, and my father was amongst the first few who moved out of the place to look out for a government job. And he went to Bokaro Steel City, the steel factory being founded. And I want to tell you that just 10 years after independence, in 1957, Pandit Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, stood on the ground where the factory would come up 10 years after. He remarked, how much more do I have to do? मुझे और कितने काम बाकी करने हैं? So it was a different India. It was an India engaged in nation building. And this is important because the initial childhood, very early childhood, spending in village, we moved to Bokaro Steel City. And one thing that was taught to me, which stayed with me for all my life in village, was what my grandfather had taught me. This is in Sanskrit, Kshan tyage kuto vidya, Kan tyage kuto dhanam, Sukharthino kuto vidya, Vidyarthino kuto sukham, which loosely translated that if you waste time, you will never have knowledge or wisdom. If you waste resources, you will never have money. It stayed with me because it was taught to me in the early childhood. Moved on from there, we cut to Bokaro Steel City. As I told you, in 1967, the Steel City of India Limited had set up the factory. The production, steel production started sometimes after, in 70s. And it was a city that never slept. Workers were working in 3 shifts. Teachers were teaching in schools. Thousands of families had come up from all across the India. And the whole city was involved in nation building. With an average salary of less than 1,000 rupees, children would go to the government school buying rations from government ration shop. And when you heard Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat, Maratha, Dravid, Utkal, Banga, you could see, as a child, I could see that around me, that Lalwanis and Paul Sahab and Jain Sahab and Gupta ji, communities from all over the India were there. They were all working. It was like work is worship. You could see unity in diversity, and that's where I got my value from, which stayed with me for all my life. And that's something, that's the second shlok from Upanishad that stayed with me. I was in school, and I'm very fond of it, and I practice it, and because of the ideology that I follow, which is I am nijah paro veti ganna lagu chet sam udar charita nam tu vasudhaiv kutumbakam. This is mine and that is yours. It's for those who have narrow hearts, for those who have large heart. For them, the whole world is one community. This is what that India was. This is what our civilizational ethos is, and this is what we learned up growing. What was fantastic was that you could dress up the way you want, you could eat the food you wanted, you could carry the tiffin that you wish to, and you would not be called out like today in UP when you carry sandwich, egg sandwich, the teacher pulls you down, which is so unfortunate. But then, moving on, when my belief and ideas were crystallizing, eventually my idea of India would be when a young man on TV, I must be 13, 14, I hear him say, I too have a dream. This was the youngest Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi. I can see young people carrying phones. Someone just lost it here. I want to ask you, can you imagine your life without a telephone in your hand? I studied at Kirorimal College. The other famous alumni apart from me is Amitabh Bachchan. So, to make a phone call, we had to leave Delhi University, North Campus, and go to Connaught Place, that too after 11 p.m. in the night. Why? Because the prices would slash down to 1/4. That's what you could afford then. And the good or the bad thing, I don't know, but we were forced to stay the night in Palika Bazaar because there'll be no buses in the night. So we'd spend the night and then come back in the morning. And just look at the privilege of your generation. You can call up your parents if they are in Chennai or in Guwahati and connect to them in seconds. So that's what the story of India is, that you don't need to, don't often forget, and you need to know. That man made sure that there were PCOs in few years, there were PCOs in every colony of this country. The Wipros and Infosys and TCSs owe a lot to the man, the vision of the man. He laid the framework of digital India. I finished my matriculation from government school in 1987. 1989 I passed my plus 2 from Kendriya Vidyalaya, and I came to Delhi for my higher education. 89 was also the year when Congress went out of power in the month of November. Coming to Delhi was unheard of in those days because most of my friends would go to Pune, Kolkata or Banaras. But I had no option because ISs were manufactured only in Delhi. Those days, mostly in Delhi. And my father, some reason I told you, I'm born from Bihar, he wanted, born in Bihar, he decided for me that I would either be an IAS officer or an English professor. So I had no option, I had to come to Delhi. I got admission in Kirorimal College, I had told you. Suddenly, from a small town, I was thrown in amongst Doon School boys and La Martiniere students and Mayos and whatnot. It was very unsettling, but it was a big melting pot. And you know what I want to tell you is that ragging those days was non-violent. And so as freshers, we were supposed to only wear Hawai Chappal to college, and there was punishment for wearing shoes. This was very comforting. It took away all our inferiority complexes, and we could dress up, despite not having clothes, we could dress up our best because friends would have them, and all you had to do is wake up before then and wear their clothes, and you could use it for that day. It was very nice growing up together. It was good feeling. It was again mini India in a hostel with no sense of who belongs where and which family and which part of India. It was very nice. College was a place where you learned your etiquette, you learned your style, you picked up your mannerism, you picked up your virtues and vices. I unfortunately I picked up smoking. The reason was that a lot of my idols and favorite people were smokers. So I ended up picking up smoking and ended up smoking 30, 40 cigarettes. It's been 16 years now when I quit, but I see a lot of friends still struggling. And I hope one day TED asks me to do a video on how to quit smoking. I'm sure it's going to help friends. In 1989, the rebel Congress leader VP Singh had become the Prime Minister of India, and he would announce implementation of Mandal Commission report. Suddenly the whole university was alive in protest, both in favor and against. We were all drawn into it, not knowing what was happening. There were leaders from political parties trying to intervene, and they would try to use us to suit their own agenda. And amidst all this, we found drawn to our different political groups. After a while, about 8 months, the general elections were announced, and I found myself working as an observer in Madhya Pradesh for Congress party, crisscrossing the state on ambassador without ST. It was very exciting. But suddenly that journey ended, and it ended with a blast. And the blast was so loud that I can still hear the ringing sound in my ear. Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated in a bomb blast. So after a while, the college life was coming to end. I realized that I did not have it in me to to pursue the dream of becoming an IS. And sorry, Himanshu, there. The reason is that by then too many seniors had qualified, and they were around, and they would come and tell you, boy, it's not the bureaucrats who are the real masters, the politicians there. So think what you are going to do. So I decided that, okay, so we'll do something else. And when that is also the time that a lot of friends were moving to Mumbai. And I want to recall and credit special people in college that time. Now, you must have heard the music society in college was damn good. I mean, they were very good. Some of them went on to, they are still big name, and they are very famous people. In fact, KK was there in our time, Lakshmi Rao was an established singer. And I want to tell you is that the film that you've seen, the Ranbir Kapoor film, is Rockstar, is partly a true story, and I hope Imtiaz credits this privately. And the dresses that Ranbir has worn in the film was being worn by the lead, one of the lead vocalists of the music group Parikrama. And Imtiaz was growing up in neighboring college Hindu. Anurag Kashyap was in Hansraj. Shah Rukh had passed Hansraj and had gone to MCRC. If you go to the back gate of the pan shop, in front of the back gate, Mangla pan shop, he'll tell you many stories of Shah Rukh Khan there. So it was a nice time to be in the university at that time. After the college, I took a year's break. And I took a year's break to study mass communication, filmmaking. I also got myself involved in the law. And I started working for a friend who was running a publication. Soon I found myself working the then very famous audiovisual news magazine, science magazine called Turning Point. I would get to meet Girish Karnad, Nasruddin Shah, Mahesh Bhatt, brilliant fine minds then. Soon things improved and progressed. I ended up becoming a news producer, from news producer to creative director at an advertising agency, and then to documentary filmmaking. Documentary filmmaking was something which brought me close to the issues on the ground, like the water crisis in Rajasthan or in eastern Jharkhand, deforestation, problems of slums. This was loosely around 2003, 2004. India was changing. Politics not for the family or the politicians. Politics should be open for general people like you and me, like you sitting in the crowd. You could become part of the politics, and that drew me back to where I am today in 2004. On one day, I walked across to the headquarters, 24 Akbar Road. I met the in charge of Bihar, Jharkhand, and I was working, next thing was working in assembly election in Bihar in 2005 February, and again because nobody got majority in 2005 November. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a brief background that I gave you. And the background is that today, after 20 years, I am here before you. And this was my journey from a professional to a politician. And I want to ask you that what do you think is the gate for politics open today? My answer is that it is perhaps more than it was 20 years back. Look around you. There are so many doctors, there are engineers, there are data scientists, there are researchers. They are all contributing. They are doing great. There is no reason why you shouldn't come. I want to tell you, so that it reassures you, that despite having no famous father or famous uncle, I made it. And I made it to where I am today. And in the scheme of things, if you have to understand, the corporate dudes would understand this, I am on the third position on the org chart. That is after President and General Secretary and Secretary. So if I can do it, you can do it too. All you need to do is come and contribute. You need to have your skill set. I had my skill set as communications person. And let me tell you that when you do, it's a very fulfilling job. It's a very contenting job. So you should try to. And what is most satisfying is that what is happening, what is being told on television, what is being written in the paper, you know the truth. You know the truth behind what's being written. And as someone else said, that what you watch on television, I think Bhupen said, what you watch on television, please don't believe it, verify it, because it's become so bad. So I will say that please, if you do want to, come and be a part of it. And for all you know that you could be leading an important assignment. You could be in charge of the department of the work that you want to. So what is important is to the doctors there, the professionals there, the educationists there, the economists there, the development professional there. Please take the leap of faith. Why not? You could make it. The caution that I say is that important is that you need to be financially secure. That's one thing which is important. The other thing which is important is that you need to have a stomach to fight. You need to have that fight in your belly, because all you know is that on a day you could be dragged on the road, you could be put in the jail, there'll be nobody to bail you out. So, and it's not that every day you win, someday you will lose. And there are days when you are in opposition, and there are days you are in power. But I think it's worth it. And I told you many examples. In fact, the biggest example that we have in front of us, Rahul Gandhi himself was a professional. He was an investment banker in UK. In fact, Rajiv Gandhi was a professional. He was a pilot. So you shouldn't be stopped. You should carry what's there in your heart and come forward. I believe that people come to us. They come to us in the faith that our fight is worth it. That we fight a good fight. That we believe in picking up right causes. That we believe in fighting for the people. Therefore, they come with us. I have worked my way up, and there are many like me who are working and who are doing very well. One thing that I'm proud of is that I didn't quit.